Please welcome back the chairman of the Living Legends Foundation, Incorporated, David C. Linton.
Thank you. The Chairman's Award has been a tradition for many years, and it's the one award, as we said, that the chairman gets to pick. And we renamed that award the A.D. Washington's Chairman's Award because A.D. Washington was the longest serving chairman of the Living Legends Foundation, and when we lost him, we thought it was only right to put his name on that award. And so we always remember A.D. because of the leadership. And so this year, when it was my opportunity to choose someone, I had a lot of different names. And then when it came, I thought about the 50th year of hip hop. And then I just thought about someone who loved the culture, who was unselfish in giving and sharing. And then there was only one name that came to my mind, and that was Shanti Das.
Making an impact is a hallmark for Shanti Das. Using campus radio and the school newspaper as her stepping stone into the music industry as a student at Syracuse's renowned S.I. Newhouse School of Communications, Shanti scored internships for Capitol Records and Sony Music. Named National Director of Promotions at LaFace Records in her native Atlanta just 4 months after her college graduation, Shoestring, as she was known, worked closely with founders Antonio L.A. Reid and Kenneth Babyface Edmonds, creating and driving innovative promotional campaigns that set the foundation for present-day legends Outkast, Goody Mob, Usher, TLC, and Toni Braxton. In subsequent high-level executive positions in urban marketing and artist development at Arista, Columbia, Sony, and Universal Motown, Shanti worked with an industry who's who that includes Prince, Erykah Badu, Busta Rhymes, Stevie Wonder, and so-so deaf artists Jagged Edge, Bow Wow, and founder Jermaine Dupri, among many others. Parlaying that skill into entrepreneurship with her own firm, Press Reset, in the early 2000s, Shanti expanded her reach beyond the music industry. Service, however, will be her greatest legacy. She's buried people in Detroit, assisted earthquake victims in Haiti, fed the homeless in her native Atlanta, and much more. Sharing her own mental health battles set her off in her most important work to date as founder of Silence to Shame, Inc. Using all her industry expertise and connections, she has chipped away at the taboos surrounding mental illness in the urban community, making Silence to Shame a rallying cry, even scoring May 5th as National Silence to Shame Day. For all she's given as a music industry professional and philanthropist is why Shanti Das is the recipient of the 2023 A.D. Washington Chairman's Award.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shanti Shoestring Das.
Thank you, David. I said I wasn't going to get emotional. Everybody know I'm a Pisces, so I get a little emotional. Okay, I didn't write a speech, but I have my notes because I like to just let God speak through me. First, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for allowing me to be here tonight. And you'll hear a little bit more about my testimony as I go further into this. I also want to thank my late mom, who passed away last year, who I cared for 13 years with Alzheimer's, as well as my best friend, my confidant, my mentor, my financial consultant, my big sister, who passed away unexpectedly 4 years ago. To say that it's a testament to my faith to be standing here is an understatement, to have experienced that sort of profound loss. But I'm here, and it's all good. I also want to honor the late A.D. Washington for his life and his career. It's really cool because I grew up under his peers, Keith and Martha Thomas Fry, who gave me my first opportunity to intern at Capitol Records when I was just a sophomore at Syracuse University. And before that, the way I met Keith and Martha was through someone who I'm sure a lot of you know, Mr. Raymond Boyd, program director. I was literally a high school student, and Ray used to let me come up to V103 and help put the carts up. Yeah, back then, nothing was digitized, so I was helping him arrange the carts, and that's when I kind of caught my love for the industry. Fast forward, when Keith left Capitol Records, I got the opportunity to interview for this up-and-coming company in Atlanta, Georgia. And so I remember going to visit my girlfriend who was in a summer program at Howard University, and it was the Budweiser Superfest. I'm sure a lot of y'all remember that concert. I was waiting to get my luggage, and there was a gentleman that I saw getting his luggage, and I had seen him before. I thought he looked familiar. Again, y'all, I'm in college. I didn't know any better. Next thing I knew, all these Louis Vuitton cases, trunk cases, were coming around. And I was like, who is this guy? And I had asked him, I was like, oh, I can't reach that bag. Can you give me my luggage? Lo and behold, it was Mr. L.A. Reid. And I was in college and was like, get my bags. And little did I know, a year or two later, I would be interviewing for a job. And so the rest was history. LA and Scott Folks and Babyface hired me to be the National Promotions Director just out of college. And it was the greatest experience of my life. And I had the honor of working Players Ball as my first record. And now Outkast has the best-selling hip-hop record of all time. So let's give it up for Outkast. I also want to thank Dee Dee Murray. I want to thank Michael Malden. I think he's still here. Michael Malden actually snuck me into my first Jack the Rapper. So thank you, Mike and Jermaine. Yeah, I was a kid back then going to Jack the Rapper. I also want to thank again L.A. Reid for just believing in me. I mean, I was a young girl straight out of college, but you taught me what black excellence was at an early age. You let me come into the A&R meetings, even though I did street promotions. And you really made me understand what it meant to take pride in the work that we did. I mean, we wore the L on our chest as if it was our own company, so I honor you and thank you for that. I want to thank Jermaine Dupree for introducing me to Donnie Einer. And Donnie believed in me and gave me my first vice president position, senior vice president, and executive vice president titles. And he also let me do the marketing on the Prince Musicology album. Anybody that knows me knows how much I love Prince. I also want to thank all of my peers in the room, all the program directors, the music directors, all the DJs that played all of my records. And I think I'm really glad that I came up in promotion. So shout out to all the record reps, because it taught me the importance of how to really break a record, right, and taking it from the studio to the market. So thank you to all of the program directors and music directors, and again, my DJs. I also want to thank my dear friend, John Platt, who is the chairman and CEO now of Sony Music Publishing, for just always believing in me, always taking my calls. As many of you know, I stepped away from the industry in 2010, and we're talking something that I tried to become so bad. You know, I wanted to be so good in this industry and the baddest person working in promotions all of my life, but it was tough for me to step away. And what most of you don't realize is that I was high functioning with depression. I started experiencing my first bout of depression probably in 2000, and that was 23 years ago when I was working at Arista Records. But we didn't talk about it then. Nobody was talking about depression back then and self-care and wellness. And so that's when I realized I needed to try to focus a little bit more on myself. But I just buried myself back into my work. So I walked away, moved back home to Atlanta, Georgia, left that $500,000 check, woo, Lord, left the Range Rover corner office and all of that, but I went back home and started doing more philanthropic work. I felt like God was moving in my spirit to do something else. And then in 2014, my best friend took her own life. And I talked to her 12 hours before it happened, so I really blamed myself, and that sent me on a downward spiral. And that's why organizations like the Living Legends Foundation is so important. I wish I had known more about it back then. And everybody knows I'm really vulnerable and transparent these days. So yeah, I pretty much hit rock bottom in 2015. I had counted up all the pills in my medicine cabinet, and I was prepared to take my own life. And it wasn't that I wanted to die. I love my family, I love the music business, I missed the business, but I didn't know how to channel all of that negative energy, and I didn't know how to deal with that generational trauma from when my dad took his own life, with me just being 7 months old. So I got the help that I needed. My sister encouraged me to call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which is 1-800-273-TALK, and now you can dial 988. And it was also my pastor, who is now Senator Warnock, who said to me, he said, I'll pray with you, but you gotta get help. You gotta go to the doctor. And so I did just that, and I started opening up and sharing, and John Platt was the first music company. He was at Warner Chapel back then, and I honor you and thank you so much for just coming in and letting me share my story to your teams. And since then, I've spoken and shared my journey at Def Jam, Spotify, Google, Sony Music, SoundCloud. Scooter Braun brought me in to share my story, and just this past December, I was featured on Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with my foundation, Silence the Shame. So God is really good. I'm so grateful. I love this lyric or line that Jadakiss says. It says you're supposed to grow as you get older. And as much as there were days where I would think, okay, maybe I could just call somebody and get a job back in the industry again. And I'll be lying if I said, there were nights that I, cried myself to sleep thinking, had I made the right decision? And now I understand that it's not two legacies. I still have one legacy. God allowed me to start working in the industry and to be great at something, because I feel like you got to be great at something to do something else. But now to be able to pour back into the lives of artists and really get them to get the help that they need is one of my greatest accomplishments. And so I'm grateful for the groundwork that I was able to lay, but for the work that I'm doing now and the lives that we're saving now. So I want to shout out my family, my best friend Cherry, my mentee Felicia Fant, who has been supporting me, and Amazon Music. I'm so grateful. If there's a party and an event, because I feel like I'm not really with the cool kids anymore, but Felicia makes sure I'm on every guest list, and that Silence the Shame is supported, so I love you dearly, and I appreciate you. Azim, Dave Lawrence, Melanie Massey, Shannon Henderson, Derek Lafayette. So many of you have supported Silence the Shame, and I'm so grateful. And I now am a podcast host. I have my own podcast called The Mebo Show. I named my company Mebo, M-I for mind, B-O for body. And so we interview artists around mental and physical health. And so my charge to you all tonight is to just pick up that phone or ask that colleague how you're feeling and not how you're doing, right? And they'll just say, I'm good. So no, how are you really feeling? So take time, to talk to people, to pour back into people, because this industry can be really tough at times. And the most important thing is to not take life for granted, because as I say, life be lifing. So as I close, I just want everybody to say these words after me. I am love. I am peace. I am joy. I'm everything that I need to be. I am enough. Thank you, Living Legends Foundation. God bless you.